As artists, we tend to have a very big reputation and being awful at organization and time management. And I've been thinking that it might have something right. We tend to have creative minds that usually get distracted quite easily. At least that's what I struggle with. A lot. What I like to do is try different methods to organize myself. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and I think it's very important to understand that the difference between one system working and the other one not, it's both the person and the situation you're in. Currently, I'm trying to switch between methods because the one I used to use is no longer working because my situation changed. So today I'm gonna be talking about some tips and tricks and a bit of the systems that I use to manage my time and make the most out of it as an artist, as a easily distracted person, and as a creative. Hello, my name is Valkyria and today we're gonna be talking about time management. So when I started planning this video, I was gonna tell you how I'm failing with time management right now and how I used to thrive on it. However, then I started to list everything I do and I was like, okay, actually I'm just being very hard on myself. So the first thing is that you really need to have self-compassion. And this is very important because you're not gonna be able to be great at time management if you are beating yourself up for everything you don't do. Right now, I am currently working and my work is 8 to 6, sometimes longer. I'm taking dance lessons 2 hours a day, 2 days a week on Thursday and Tuesday. I am doing this YouTube channel and thankfully, thank you Nico again. He's the one doing the editing, so that takes a lot of my plate and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. And I am learning how to sew. I'm going to psychology, I visit my friends, I visit my family. So I am doing a lot of stuff. And I thought I wasn't. So it's good to take a step back and try to figure out if you are really struggling with time management or it's just that you want to do so many things that it's physically impossible to do them all. Now, that is a hard truth, especially if you're like me and you want to do everything right now. You don't want to wait, you just want to do everything right this second. And that can be a recipe for burnout and depression. And I wish I was kidding, but no, like I have a lot of friends, and myself included, that have struggled with this because we beat ourselves up because we're not doing 1,000 different things. Something that I like to do is to plan stuff and say like, okay, right now I'm not doing this because I'm gonna focus on another stuff and I am making the conscious decision of choosing this thing over this thing. A current example is that next year I plan to take sewing classes. And yeah, I know I could learn from YouTube, but I kind of prefer the option of someone teaching me and I'm gonna take those classes with a friend of mine. On top of that, I get the option to interact with more people and that's always welcome. I also want to learn to make furniture and I recently learned how to use the bzz. Nico, please put an image because I have no idea how do you say this in English. But yeah, I learned to use it recently and I did like a little tiny thing. I just put 3 wood thingies together and sorry about my English, I don't know why, but the non-scripted parts are probably gonna be fun to edit for Nico. Sorry. And I also want to take a course on furniture making. Here's the catch. Both are on Saturday and both cost money because life costs money. So I am taking the conscious decision of prioritizing in the present and close future my sewing classes because my mother and my grandmother know how to sew and they are very willing to help me out. And this is gonna sound bad, but I don't know how long I'm gonna have my grandma, so it's important to like take advantage of that as long as I can. And even though I would like to learn how to make furniture right now, I am more likely to have a space for clothes than for furniture in this exact moment of my life. So based on that, I'm taking the decision of pushing 2 or 3 years learning to make furniture because it's not a priority right now and learning to make clothes is. So when you prioritize and you decide to prioritize something, that's gonna give you more freedom because you know eventually you can get to the thing you want, but you're taking your time and you're not beating yourself because you're not doing everything. Another strategy that used to work for me very well back in university was that I really like to have my schedule. Like, we were able to make our schedules. I don't know if that's the case for every university, but I like to have my schedule with a lot of free spots. So let's say I will have a class 7 to 9, and then 9 to 10 I will have like a free period, and then 10 to 12 I will have another thing, 12 to 2 free period, and like that. I really liked whenever I could manage to make my schedule like that. It usually meant that I spent most time campus, but I was really okay with that because I really like to spend my time in campus instead of my home because personal reasons. When I was in college, this kind of schedule allowed me to time block. And now, maybe if you're into all of this time management stuff, you are familiar with time blocking. If you're not, long story short, time blocking is when you say from this hour to this hour, I'm gonna do this thing. Since I had an external thing that forced me to do the stuff I needed to do in that time frame, it was super useful because I will schedule my free periods in order to do homework, in order to even hang out with friends. Like, I will even schedule that. Back in the day, I didn't have a full-on schedule in terms of I didn't put in my Google Calendar, I'm gonna hang out with this person and this person at this time, I'm gonna hang out with this person and this person at this time, I'm gonna make this homework. It was more like a feeling, like a rough outline in my mind, but I was able to time block. And if I had something to do that I knew I was gonna forget, then I will set an alarm or put it in my calendar, or both. Back in the day, I really liked to use a bullet journal, so I used to time block in my bullet journal, and that was also very effective. Then I finished college and I started to have nothing to do. And to be honest, one will think, like, I thought that lack of other stuff that I had to do, like, if you're in university, you have to get good grades, like at least passing grades, and that takes effort. And I don't know why, but in my mind, the lack of those boundaries, the lack of that pressure was gonna be excellent for my time management. It wasn't. It really wasn't. Like, it was awful. And time management wise, I really didn't know what to do. During that time, most of my time was used sending resumes to companies and trying to get some sort of freelance job. I got some jobs here and there. Then I ended up working at a call center. I got some gigs, but during that time, honestly, my time management was a bit of a mess. And for me personally, I realized that I need a structure. For me, it's very important to have a structure in order to have a good time management. I need an external source or something that will draw clear limits on what I was able to do. I got a short job. I was there around a couple of months, 2 to 3 months. And during that time, since I had stuff that I had to finish and send at the end of the day, that really helped me. Like, having something external forcing me to finish stuff and send stuff, that was something that really helped me. And it's something that I actually want to work in because eventually, hopefully, this will be my work. I want my YouTube channel to be my full-time job. I want my own business to be my full-time job. And it's harder to get those limits when you are your own boss and it's your own project, the one you're working on. Because, yeah, I'm not gonna have my boss saying, hey, did you finish this? Or another person calling me, hey, I need this. No, it's gonna be all on me. So that's a challenge that I'm gonna have in the future, and I'll tell you how I'm tackling it. Something that actually helps me with that a bit, it's trying to figure out why I'm doing and like the purpose behind it. Again, for the YouTube channel, I want this to be my full-time job, so I'm making the time. Today I work from home and I'm supposed to start working in 20 minutes. So I'm taking this time to make this audio so I can send it to Nico and he will edit it. That is like my external pressure. Nico, it's been key for having an external pressure in my personal projects. Why? And this is like problem that I've heard big YouTubers and generally a lot of entrepreneurs. Once you're paying people, you want to make sure that you are able to pay them every month. I am not making money out of this. I am paying him out of my full-time job. But still, it's like the pressure of if I don't send him a video, if I don't send him audio and video and instructions and whatever for him to edit, I am taking away job from him. And we already agreed that he was gonna edit at least 2 videos a month. And that's what I have in my budget, and that's what he has in his budget. So that is like an external pressure that I managed to get through hiring Nico as my editor, and it's proving to be very good, at least for my video making process and my productivity on personal projects. Something that I found is key, and it has helped me during my whole life ever since I discovered this trick, is that you usually are not able to do more than 3 things a day, like 3 important things. So define what are those 3 important things. Currently, there's someone in my job that is in charge of doing that. So I don't know how this works in other businesses, but in my company, the account manager is the one that makes the traffic. And how does the traffic work? The client and the account manager talk, and the client tells her, I need this thing. So then she moves to make the traffic. And in the traffic usually goes like, first it comes to us, to the copy team, and we make a base, a guideline of what we want the thing to look like and to say. Then that goes to the graphic designer that turns our little sketch into something way better, and that it's like something that we can present to the client. And then the account manager shows it to the client, and he can say, oh, right, perfect, I'm gonna use it. Or he can say, no, I don't like it. And depending on if he didn't like the graphic part, it will go back to the graphic designer, or if he didn't like the concept, we will have to start all over again from the copy. And my personal traffic usually looks like plan this event, propose/plan this event, whatever. And of course, we can never forget the emergency, do these things first because the client needs it for yesterday. It happens more than I'm willing to admit. But since I have someone else making that list for me, I don't really have to worry about what things goes first. That is super important because that allows you to have like a bigger picture. And I know I kind of should do that. I am not doing it. I should. I should do that with my personal stuff so I can see like, okay, if I make this video, when I'm gonna be able to publish it. And I'm thinking about doing that with a video I'm planning on setting goals that it's definitely gonna be either published at either the end of December or the beginning of January. I'm still planning it, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but you get the point. Planning backwards, it's very important, so you can know, okay, if I have to send this on Friday, working on this. Know what you have to prioritize. In this case, for example, my priority right now, it's recording this because I already have some video recording of some drawings. I think this one is gonna be a redesign of my Tiefling character, but I'm not sure, probably, we'll see. And last but definitely not least, I actually think this is one of the most important. I don't care how important your deadline is. I don't care how urgent something is. If you are tired, take a break. Take a break. I don't care how important the deadline is. Unless you're working and in, I don't know, health, and someone's life is on the line, and if you take more than 2 seconds, it's gonna die. Most people, most of us, I am not in that kind of situation. If I don't finish my job, the worst thing that's gonna happen is that the client's gonna get mad and it's gonna be like, oh, but you said you were gonna have this done. Yeah, I'm really sorry, something happened, I couldn't do it. There are no lives in danger. So unless your work is something that you have 2 seconds to save someone's life, you can take a break. I don't care how urgent that deadline is. Your health is first. Sure, if you are working for someone else, if you got the flu, then just say, I got the flu. I am not gonna be able to work properly or at all, ideally, during the next few days until I get better. And usually people, if they are not assholes, are gonna understand that your health comes first. And also, even if you say, oh no, but the client is so big, it's more important to get to the client. Do you think you're gonna work properly if you're burned out? Do you think you're gonna work properly if you're tired, dehydrated, and hungry? Because let me tell you, it's not gonna happen. And I've become very good. I still have my days, but I've become better and at knowing when I need to take a break. And I've become better at knowing how to handle breaks and my stuff. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I take a break that's too long, and sometimes I don't take breaks at all. But overall, I think I have a decently management of my rest-work balance. But I have a coworker She's lovely, she's a graphic designer, and out of stress, sometimes she doesn't take her breaks. The only thing she doesn't skip is lunch, but I think it's honestly more because everyone sits and eats lunch together, and if we see that she's not eating lunch, we're gonna say like, hey, you okay, come here, you can finish that later, blah. But more often than not, she will eat lunch and then it's go straight back to work, and that's not healthy. And what happens is that you get overwhelmed, you get saturated, and you're not gonna be able to work properly. So please take some breaks. I'm not saying if you have a deadline like in 2 hours, take a 3-hour break, no, but breathe in, breathe out, stand up from your desk, get away from your computer, go to the park, hug a tree, lay in the grass for a few minutes, and then you can go back. And I swear to you, this is gonna help your productivity. This is gonna help you feel better, because these kind of pauses are fundamental for not burning out, letting your creative energy flow, and taking care of your health. This girl almost passes out once because she hadn't drank water all day, and it was around 4 p.m. So she was highly dehydrated. And another time she was trembling because she hadn't eaten anything. And it was like she skipped breakfast accidentally, and it was like a little less than 1 p.m. and she's used to eating breakfast. I know a lot of people don't, but here in Colombia, like, our culture is very eat breakfast heavy. She skipped breakfast and now she almost passes out again, and she has been close to burnout, or honestly I think she has burned out a few times because she hasn't taken the time to pause. In the first few weeks she worked even on weekends, even though our contract doesn't like needs that, and though that time is fundamental to taking breaks and recharge. So please, and I don't care what society told you, taking breaks is important for your productivity and your health. And this video is already a bit long. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be the final cut. So I'm gonna leave it here. I'll probably do another one in the future, and let me know what other things you think are important for time management. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.